Behind these walls is where I found freedom. I spent over 2,000 days in prison, learning more about myself in this life than I ever could have thought possible.
Just behind these walls, I spent 17,520 hours changing my life. And when I teamed up with Sean, it was to change 1 billion lives for the better. Join us today and level up and become the architect of your greatest life.
My name is Sean Michael Crane, co-founder of Convicted Mindset. Today I'm going to talk to you about what happened to me my first day in court and being incarcerated for a crime I didn't commit and eventually sent to prison for 5.5 years. When I was 23, I went to a party in this really beautiful location of Santa Barbara, California, known as the Mesa. And I was at that party drinking, chasing girls. I went there with a childhood friend. I didn't really know anybody. And at the end of the night, I was getting ready to leave and a fight broke out in the front yard. I got involved in a wrestling match with a guy who ended up being stabbed. I was watching the fight, and as it broke out, I was attacked from the side, and I thought that I was being jumped, and I ended up defending myself and wrestling around with some guy. Come to find out he was being stabbed during that process, or he was already stabbed, and I had blood all over my shirt. I ran from the party as the cops were showing up because I was scared, and I'm covered in blood, and I had no idea what to do. And the next day I was charged with attempted murder. The cops, the SWAT team, everyone came with AR-15s pointed at my face and cuffed me up and took me down to the county jail. It was a surreal experience. It felt like something out of a dream, a nightmare, a movie. You never imagined that could actually happen to you. Growing up, as a kid, I would go to parties and there would be fights all the time. People would fight with their fists, and at the end of the night, everyone would go home, and you didn't think too much of it. I thought that's what happened this night on the Mesa. Come to find out, one man was fighting for his life on life support, and another person had been stabbed several times. It was something that I had never seen or been a part of before, but it changed my life forever. And I'll never forget the first day walking into court, shackled up. The news press was there. They were taking my picture. They put my picture on the front page of the newspaper, talking about how I stabbed these guys at the party and I was being charged with attempted murder. And then I saw my lawyer for the first time. And I was hopeful. I thought that she was going to be on my side. And as she walked up to me, the only thing she said was, the judge and the DA are talking about changing your charges to homicide. The victim is brain dead. He's not going to make it. And then she walked away. And I had to sit there with that. And I was thinking that my life was over. Come to find out, when I got my discovery in the police report, everybody at the party was saying that I attacked the guy. They all saw me fighting with this individual and getting up covered in blood and running away as he lay face down in the grass. The cops thought I was guilty. They wrote up the report to look really bad, and they used certain words and phrases that made me look like the assailant. Come to find out, my childhood friend from kindergarten was even telling on me. He was distancing himself from me and making it seem like he had no part in it and he didn't know what I did or didn't do. He knew I was innocent, but he didn't speak up. So I had my best friend from childhood telling on me, 10 people from the party all pointing the finger at me, allegedly. The cops writing up this false report accusing me of this crime. My lawyer didn't care, and now the judge and the DA were trying to send me to prison for the rest of my life. I had every right to just be furious at these individuals, and just be angry and bitter and upset. But I knew that being resentful towards them and pouring my energy into something I couldn't change wasn't going to help me. It wasn't going to get me out of that cell. And this was the first time in my life I really took responsibility for myself and my actions. Growing up, I always blamed other people. I blamed my parents for my troubles and the dark path that I went down as an adolescent. I blamed my friends for being bad influences. I blamed the world for being cruel and unfair. But in all actuality, it was my choices that led me to being at that party. It was my choices that led me to choosing those friends to be around. It was my choices that led me to being in that jail cell. And I had to take full responsibility if I was going to take control of my life and find a way out of that cell. I call this radical responsibility. It truly means that everything in your life is your fault. And I know that's not always true, and it's not a bad thing. But when we have this mindset, it allows us to find solutions rather than waste energy focusing on things that we can't control or change. You can't control other people. You can't change things that are outside of your zone of control. You can't change things that are beyond you. You know, all you could focus on is your decision, your choices, your mentality, the way you approach your life. And so when I learned to take radical responsibility for my life, for being in that cell, even if I was innocent, it gave me the power to change myself and eventually change my life. And I've been able to do just that. You know, once I made that decision to stop looking to the past, to stop, blaming other people, to stop finding excuses and reasons why this was happening to me, it allowed me to see things I could do to improve myself going forward. And ever since then, I've just taken one step forward each and every day, one step to improve myself, one step to get beyond that cell, one step to get out here and do things and make an impact on people's lives. So if you're somebody who blames your parents for things you went through growing up, or teachers, or kids at school, or society, or cops, or whatever it is, I'm not saying that those individuals aren't at fault to an extent. What I want you to know is if you waste time blaming them, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to help you. And when you start to blame other people and you focus your energy on that, it takes away your power to change or improve your situation. Learn to take radical responsibility in your life for everything, and you are going to be able to retain control. And chances are you're going to find things you can do to improve your situation or avoid it happening again in the future. This is the way that you can always feel empowered, not like a victim, not helpless, but someone who has control over your life and where you're going. If you want more resources or information, how you can implement this in your life and some of the mindset strategies that I used in my jail cell to help me to get out of that cell and move forward in my life, visit convictedmindset.com.
Welcome to Convicted Mindset. I'm your co-founder and co-host, Travis Richey.
And I'm Sean Michael Crane.
And we're here to make sure that you have the tips and the tricks and the resources necessary to lead the greatest life possible. We realized with our time spent incarcerated that some of the worst prisons in America were not made of concrete and steel, but were rather the limiting beliefs and the self-doubt and the mindset that didn't serve you to be the best human possible.
We want to take all of the strategies and learning lessons that we uncovered in our time of incarceration and bring those resources to people who feel stuck in their life right now. We've developed 4 pillars of self-mastery that cover mental, physical, spiritual, and financial well-being to give you access to that information so that you can apply it to your life. We've created a Convicted Mindset coaching program to literally walk you through those steps and give you 52 weeks of accountability and support so you can break through any limiting beliefs you have or stuck points in your life right now and really start creating that life 2.0 that you've dreamt of.
What we realized that while we were incarcerated was that access to real life-changing skills was scarce. And so what we want to make sure that we're giving to you are tangible step-by-step resources that help you physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially to take you from where you are to where you know you deserve to be. Join us today at convictedmindset.com and help us level up the world to change 1 billion lives for the better.